Mr. Ford, I know you've got to go, but in the interest of fairness, because everybody else is going to get a closing statement, do you want to take a minute just to address the crowd before you go?
Thank you, Steve. I just want to remind people, I'm the only candidate that has run a successful company employing 300 people called Deco Labels and Tags. I have 20 years of business experience. I understand how to create a job, meet a payroll, read a P&L statement, and understand the value of a hard-earned tax dollar. I'm a family man. I've been in politics for 10 years, representing Etobicoke North, and I can assure you, when you call my office, you'll get a personal phone call back from me. Okay, I have responded to over 200,000 people. Today alone, I've returned 75 phone calls alone today. This is customer service, does not cost money, ladies and gentlemen. We have to watch every dime that is being spent at a city hall, and right now, we're not. And I guarantee, just ask one question before you vote, and I'll wrap it up. Who do you trust? Who do you trust with your hard-earned tax dollars? Guaranteed. I have never been involved in any sort of billion-dollar scandal or $100 million scandal at all. And guaranteed, I'll be the best mayor the city's ever had.
Thank you very much, Mr. Floyd.
Thank you very much. I hate to be rude, but I've got to go and come back by Liberty Grant.
Thank you very much. Okay. I know this audience wants to show its appreciation for your having come out tonight. Number 2, closing statements, which we will do in alphabetical order. 1 minute, each candidate. Giorgio Mammoliti, you're up first.
Well, first of all, let me thank you for this opportunity. I truly do love this city, and that's why I've been in politics for 20 years. I really do want to make a difference. And I want to make a difference as the leader of the city as well. And I think I can. And I think tonight you've heard about some of the things I've been able to accomplish. It is a right-leaning individual that got the charter through the city council, the housing charter. It is a right-leaning councillor that created a blueprint for housing that sets the direction for the next 10 years. That's me. It's a right-leaning councillor that says to all of you, we can do this together. We've got to go back and forth. But you can't call it a socialist kind of regime versus a capitalist kind of regime. You've got to be able to lead. And the only way that you can do that is by understanding the process. You need experience at City Hall. I've got it. I can cut through that red tape, and I can make it happen for you. The rest
Thank you, Mr. Mammoliti. Joe Pantalone, your final statement.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I love the city as you love the city. It reminds me history needs to be remembered in order not to be repeated. 15 years ago, we had Mike Harris came around. For 2 terms, they devastated City Hall, city service. They devastated the educational system. They devastated the idea of a public. Mr. Smitherman just called me a progressive. I'm proud of that. To my right here, including the gentleman on the lead, you have a bunch of mini Harrises. Because all of them want to think that you can sell stuff and be better off. All of them think that contracting out is the way to go.
Candidates, please.
And all of us really want to sell you a bit of the Harris agenda. Look at them. He wants to privatize part of the TBC. He wants to sell Toronto Hydro. She wants to contract out everything.
I got everything done.
Mr. Ford thinks you should blow up City Hall. That's how you run city services. They have that experience. Thank you very much. We don't need it again.
Thank you, Mr. Pantalone. Rocco Rossi, your closing statement.
Thank you for tonight. Thank you for what you do day in and day out to make this a great city. Thanks to Steve for moderating. One of my heroes and one of the best speakers in the country, Lieutenant Governor Onley, is very fond of saying that there will come a day when the last will be first and the first shall be last. Not because he wants to push people back, but because he wants to bring everyone up to an equal opportunity, that people may be differently abled, but they're only handicapped if society handicaps them. I put 3 specific pledges. A discounted fare for the disabled who are on government assistance. 2, fast-tracking the accessibility on the subways. 3, making sure we put an end to this notion where group homes with respect to the disabled are being lumped in together with those with criminal records, that we have to have the freedom to live anywhere in the city.
Thank you. Mr. Smitherman, final statement.
Well, thank you very much. I just want to say to Councillor Pantalone that people should be careful that history doesn't repeat itself, because I haven't found too many people that are looking for Miller Lite. You know, the fact of the matter is that this is an election with stark choices. This is an election with stark choices. One of the stark choices left early, but his values are not my values. I'm a person who is deeply rooted in community, who has fought the good fight alongside many people in this room for progress on a variety of social justice matters, for inclusion of people, and recognition that accessibility is not something that can be toyed with and not something that can be left for years and years and years. I have a proven track record of working with communities. I have a proven track record of fighting and doing things that are courageous, but at the end of the day, that are associated with getting the job done. If you elect me, you will be electing a mayor who will be a champion for progress on the needs and rights of disabled individuals, and I will bring all of the energy that I can to address the barriers that you're experiencing every single day.
Thank you, Mr. Smitherman. Sarah Thomson.
One of the basic requirements of being an entrepreneur, as myself, is that you are completely progressive. If you're not, you'll fail. Toronto has innovative, creative, and talented people with disabilities, and they're right here in this room. We have ideas. Nobody's listening. We have ways of doing things, and the city isn't listening. We have to unlock the potential right here in Toronto, and we have to look at the long-term future of our city for our disabled people, for our children, and for our grandchildren.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to do three more things before we conclude this meeting. Number one, thank Community Living Toronto and their partners, the CNIB, Community Living Ontario, all of the Riverview, Kids Rehabilitation Hospital, Market Arms, Surrey Place Centre, and the Canadian Hearing Society. That's number one. Number two, I'd like Paul Cochran from Community Living Toronto to come up and say a quick word. Would you welcome Paul?
Hello, everybody. Thank you to Steve, and I'd like to thank Steve for the moderating tonight for the meeting. I'd also like to thank the candidate for attending, and good luck with your campaign. It's important to remember that Toronto, the visa is include people with disability, and we are pleased to hear that you will work with us and make sure that everyone is part of it. And thank you and good night.
And the last thing I know you all want to do is join me in thanking all of these candidates for coming out tonight and taking your questions.